I told you a little bit about how I found you. I was looking at doing this podcast and expanding to the Connecticut Barber Expo.
Yeah.
And then I realized, hold on, man, I'm not ready for that. We haven't quite gotten there yet. So when I realized I needed to find somewhere local, the JAX Elite Barber Expo was the very next one.
Yeah.
Is that strategic for you to have it pretty close after Connecticut Barber Expo, or did that just end up that way?
Nah, I've even thought about changing it and stuff. I originally had the expo in February. That's when I had my first expo was February 19th. But I think July just made sense, right? Like you talk about Florida, summer, like who wouldn't want to be in Florida in the summer and stuff like that. So I just did July really, and that's how it happened. I've thought about probably doing October or other dates, but I just always kept it at July. Like it just made sense.
And this is the sixth one.
Sixth one, yeah.
Back to back every year for 6 years. Or almost.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because even in COVID, yeah, we had that year.
So how did it start? How did you even end up as I'm assuming you own the shop first.
Yeah.
And you have 4 of these.
Yeah.
And then when did the expo or the idea for that come along that journey?
Well, the expo, so in 2018, I opened my barber shop, and 2018 going into 2019, I wanted to go to CT Barber Expo. Shout out to Jay Majors. And I went out there and I saw a whole nother world of barbering that I've never seen. Like it was the first time. So that really inspired me because I was like, man, Jacksonville needs this. Like Jacksonville needed it. And that just inspired me to do it. I went to a hotel, one back here. It's really not that big, and we did it, and it went amazing.
What was your goal? I know you said that you went to the Connecticut Barber Expo. Did you go that year, 2019 or 2018?
Yeah, and it was the first. I went there the first year that they did the Grammys.
Okay, and that was your first experience at a show of that caliber. Period.
Yeah, I mean, I went to smaller shows like barber battles and stuff like that, but when you talk about expo,
right?
Yeah,
Expo
CT
level.
Barber Expo was my first one.
What was it that struck you so much about that experience?
At the time, you saw people like Mr. Official, A-Rod, Big Blends, all these people. Big Blends I already knew because we did a seminar together. So like, to be honest, just being able to see so many goats and so many hard hitters in under one building, that was like the most amazing thing. Like, at the time, Tomb 45 was coming out with their hottest like pod, not their pods, but the little mats that they had.
Oh man, those are clutch. Shout out to
that was crazy. Yeah. Babyless came out with the first gold clipper. So it was just seeing like how the industry was evolving. That was amazing. Like, just being able to see that and being able to see every entrepreneur and every big person in the industry being there. That was the biggest thing.
And when you hit up that that hotel and decided to do your first one in Jacksonville, what was your mindset? How did you approach that? And what was your goal for that?
So, first year I went to the CT. It was in a hotel. It was in Hartford, Connecticut. It wasn't where it's at now. Okay. Now it's in the Mohegan Sun. When I decided to do it, of course, I couldn't go up to that level. I decided to do it in a smaller hotel. It just made sense. I think it was $1,000 to rent the room, so it wasn't expensive. Everything post-COVID, pre-COVID was way cheaper than what it is now. So
gloves,
gloves were like $5 at the time. Now they're like 15 or 20. Like, at least, it's ridiculous.
Bro. For the color, forget about it.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I've always been a person that I've always think about new things or to do or I it's not that I get bored of the same thing, but if I get stuck, like I almost get like depressed, man. I always have to advance and stuff. And I was just cutting hair one day and I was like, man, I want to do something different, like something that gives me like that adrenaline, that energy. And doing the expo is what gave me that, because you have to do so much leading up to that, like, you know, the wristbands, the lanyards, the signage, the tables, chairs, educational setups, all of these stuff. Like you have to focus on so many little things that it makes it very challenging, but at the same time it makes me appreciative of what I do.
Right.
So I mean, I just did it and it worked out, and I loved it, and we're on year 6, you know?
Yeah, hell yeah. No, that's awesome. I congratulate you for that. I respect it, because everyone knows that it's easy to become a barber and fall into complacency. That complacency you're talking about, where next thing you know, it's been 20 years and you've just been doing the exact same thing. I think what you're talking about is just that entrepreneurial mindset. Yeah. Any entrepreneur who is successful doing something, that it doesn't mean that's the end of the line. Yeah. Like, how are you going to grow that and make it more impactful? So when you took that leap, you came in blind. You went to an expo, you got inspired. How do you go through the motions, and what kind of resources and team do you put together to have an expo? You know, nobody does anything completely alone, right? I mean, who helped you?
Well, that's the hardest thing, because my family has always helped me, right? So they're real big when it comes to my support system. However, I have not been able to find, like, outside of my family, I haven't been able to find like a strong team. You know, so I'm still trying to find that. I mean, a couple of my barbers have been very helpful, like, you know, family and some friends, you know, but I mean, at the end of the day, I just think the people, because to be honest, like, every time we do a show, we need volunteers or something, like, the people just happen to be there. So, you know, we just get a lot of people in the community that can help out. So you know, I don't have nobody specific, of course. Like, I got my dad, my brothers, and like Nikki, that she's been with me since year 1 and stuff like that. But, you know, we just kind of like assembled a team together. Like, this year, going on year 6, we started realizing that we need to start delegating certain stuff to certain people. So we're probably going to have area managers and stuff like that. So, like, you know, it's crazy, because a lot of people, a lot of vendors, and a lot of people are real tough on me. Like, oh, you need this, you need that. It's like, yo, like, y'all are comparing me to shows that have 30 years doing this. Like, I'm on year 6. Like,
if you don't mind me asking, what type of things are those? Like, not to call anybody out, but just what types of, because I'm oblivious, right? I don't know what types of things a vendor may come to you as a host for. So what types of things might that be that you know, whether you can accomplish that now or late or not, what are they looking for? What are these people wanting?
One thing is, like, how loud the music is. So, like, sometimes, like, I was not able to know, like, how loud I have to go on the staging. So that's one problem. Probably, like, you know, having more information on the on the edge on the deck, you know, or, you know, not having enough personnel to give people what they really were supposed to have. So, like, one year I had this issue. I had a big sponsor, and we had to take certain content and certain stuff, and, you know, I had 2 content people.
Oh wow.
And you know, they pretty much disappeared. They weren't at the show. So
at all?
Yeah, so be over prepared. Yeah, so
to have a whole media team not show up, how do you go about dealing with that? It was just, well, that's the L. I got to. I mean,
we had to get somebody last minute. We had to spend way more money than what we were supposed to do. We just figured it out, but it wasn't what we wanted, because you got to understand, like, you plan this 8-10 months ahead, you know, really all year long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and something like that happens, you know. I mean, this year, like, we're doing the expo, and we have all our money and all our budget done, and all of a sudden people back out, and you got $20,000 less. Like, you know, that happened to us this year. Oof, but at the same time, it's my fault, because I should have done a contract. I should have done, you know, so you can learn. Yeah, you learn so much. There's so many shows that I've been to now that I know how to do it, that is gonna change. But what people don't realize is that, like, at the end of the day, I'm the one that is going to be responsible for this. So, like, let's say if somebody else drops the ball, like, they're still going to come to me.
Right.
So, like,
yeah, because you're the one running it.
So, yeah. So I have to be very, very, just very mindful of all those things. So, sometimes it gets draining, but I'm just taking notes. Like, this is something we need to get better at. This is something we need to get better. So
it's not getting boring.
No,
that's for sure.
No. So those are some things that do happen to me. Like, that we need to get better.
What do you think is the biggest challenge of all? I mean, of the millions of, the list could go on, right? But right now, looking at your goals for this show, what is your biggest or one of your biggest challenges to accomplish your goal?
One of my biggest challenges is just really, really to continue to scale, because there was this one year, like I remember, I think it was like the third or the fourth year, like, I didn't have a kid at the time. I was loaded, like, and I'm not saying that I'm not doing good now, but that year I was like spending bread, and I set up the expectations real high. So, like, to continue to set up those expectations is really hard. So, for example, like,
I get that.
If you go to Premiere and you go to CT, you're always going to see Victorino. You're always going to see Albor. You know that you're going to see these big people.
Right.
So, like, if I was to bring somebody big, I'm not as big as the shows that we previously mentioned.
Right.
It's not a guarantee that you'll see those people. So, to keep, impressing those people or providing the right, staff or educators or, celebrity barbers is really, really hard, because it gets expensive.
And I'm guessing that's where the sponsorships come in at the in most handy, I say.
Well, not only that, sponsorships comes in for a lot of things. Like, I mean, you got to understand, it's an expensive show. So, like, people don't realize, like, you got to pay for the venue. You got to pay for insurance. You got to pay for pipe and drape setup. But, that includes, like, the pipe and drape, the tables, the chairs, the trash cans. And you got to understand, you got lanyards, you got wristbands, you got staging, you got AV. So, in AV, you go to electric, you go to TVs, you go to speakers, engineers. You got to go through marketing, you got to go through educators. So, like, another thing we're gonna have this year, we're gonna have a huge give back. We're gonna be giving kids like free backpacks and free haircuts. So we still gotta pay some of these people. So those things are really the hardest things that people don't see. So yeah, sponsors come in handy, because, like, they'll help you. Like, in reality, you're putting on the show, but it kind of goes all together. Without the sponsors, without the people coming, you really can't have a show.
I get that. And being at the end of July, you said we have the back to school giveaway aspect and the charity for haircuts, which, by the way, we're going to try to get as many barbers as we can on that team. Yeah. So if you're hearing this and you want to come help out, show love, come to the expo, volunteer to cut hair for the kids.
I'll give you one of these too, so you take to your shop.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
So one thing we're doing, we're taking these little boxes and we're getting as much school supplies as we can, and we also have a QR code to take donations. So those donations will go to kids. Not only are we giving kids free haircuts, but we're also working with 2 local medical entities that are going to give them free medical assistance to not only the kids but the parents as well.
Hell yeah.
So I feel awesome. Like that's super amazing, because not only should we scale the expo, but we should also scale helping the community, because I've always preached, like, barbers are the backbone of the community. But if we don't do none of these things to be able to live by it, well, what are we doing?
Not really. Yeah, not really. And I feel the same way. I actually host something similar. I've done 2 years of it back in Ocala. So I would love to get my team to help with this one, because it's exactly aligned. I have a booth at your shop. I mean, at your expo. So I'm super excited about that, because my idea is to do exactly what we're doing and take this show to another platform where we can already have people who are going to be there trying to develop themselves, trying to grow and tell their sides of the story. So what would you say for the people that are going to show up? What's the reason for them to come to your show? What's your goal? What do you want to achieve with your show as it continues to grow?
I mean, first of all, you're in Florida, right? One thing is that I think is not a secret to anyone that Jacksonville is growing. And we have the whole new development of Jacksonville of the future and all that stuff. So not only are you going to be able to learn stuff about barbering or beauty, not only are you going to compete, not only are you going to have vendors, but you're also going to be able to grow as an individual. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of educators. We have a lot of different panels. We're going to have a health panel. We're going to have a financial panel. And we're going to have a marketing panel. So if you want to learn how to market, we'll have people that are super successful at marketing. We have a lot of people that are super successful in finance. If you want to find a realtor, if you want to find a person that sells cars, if you want to find somebody that can fix your credit, we'll have it here. So this is not only an expo to where you're going to compete and have bragging rights because you won, but you'll actually be able to grow as an individual because you'll be able to incorporate some of these things that you're going to learn here to your day-to-day basis. And not only that, you're going to be able to see the growth of a city. And each year that you come back, you're going to see something new. We're going to have great environments, and we're going to have a car show the day before. Oh, hell yeah. So that's also going to be amazing. One thing I realized is that like barbers like cars, and people that are not barbers that don't like hair like cars more than hair. So we decided to just get that in there. So a lot of people say, what the hell does like a lawyer have to do with barbering, or what the hell does a realtor? Well, they have to do a lot because if you don't know a good financial person, a CPA, you won't be able to do your numbers to be able to get a house. Mm-hmm. If you don't know a lawyer and there was to have a slip and fall in your barbershop, and you don't have a good lawyer, you have a problem. So all of these things that we're doing are very important and real vital to your business.
Absolutely. I can see that for sure. Being a business owner myself, I totally understand that. But more specifically for barbershops, because that's essentially what you're doing is just amplifying your barbershop. That's the environment of the shop. We have the lawyers' clients, we have the doctors, we have this and that. And we offer that opportunity to our clients and community that joins us. So I definitely can appreciate that perspective. What do you have? Matter of fact, you mentioned the barber battles. Is there one barber battle? I mean,
we're gonna have barber battle,
but one specific group of different categories.
Well, right? we have the fast fade. We have a student category. We're going to have a fade and beard. We're gonna have a freestyle design tag team, and then we'll have some beauty categories where we're gonna get the makeup. We're gonna get the fade and braid where.
Fade and braid, like
barber and braider gets to mix together. That one has $500 for the first place.
Hell yeah.
And then we'll have the fantasy one as well.
Do you? I see you got trophies. Hold on, you're a competitor in the barber game, or used to
competed. My time is past. But, yeah.
How do you feel about that? I've never competed in a legit barber battle. I think they're dope for the industry. But how do you feel about that dynamic, the barber battle game, and what that brings?
So what I try to tell people is like, people tell me, why would you go to an expo? Why would I go to a convention and all that stuff? And I like to break it in 3 reasons, right? And I always like to tell people it's like competition, education, and products. So to me, those are the main ones because like, let's say you want to be an ambassador or an educator for a company, right? It really starts like competing, right? Like back in the day, the more you competed, the more you won. These companies are sponsors for those categories. So they'll 9 times out of 10, they'll end up looking at you and they'll have you in their team. So like if you want to be a brand ambassador or you want to be part of a team, that's number 1. You have to compete. 2, if you want to grow in your industry and you want to go as a barber, you have to put to the industry. The industry is going to give you what you put in it, right? So like you cannot pretend that you're not going to get educated, that you're not going to do none of these things, and something is just going to happen. So the education is number 1. And 2, we have products. So like one thing I tell people is that once you go to these shows, these product sales are going to be a lot better than anywhere else you go. So your goal should be is like, how can I capitalize on getting as many products as possible and being able to sell them and get a profit? So how to upsell, how to get money on product sales. So those to me are the main 3 reasons why people should go to a show.
Okay, I love that. I know Jimmy Fades at my shop is potentially going to be in the barber battle.
Okay.
He's going to be representing my team. But I told him already. I was like, look, man, you got like a week to decide, because if we put you up for that and you don't do it, it's gonna look crazy. Sure. So now I do have a question, because I'm not well versed in the barber battle game, and I have my own opinions on it, right? But I've never I photographed one time, one that Jimmy was in Ocala.
Yeah.
But how do you feel about the criteria of judgment on the shows?
Yeah.
Because to me, as an outsider looking in of battles particularly, it seems very subjective. I feel like, and educate me please if there's something I'm missing, but I would like to see a barber battle with some actual criteria in judgment, right? Let's say you have a panel of barbers. They're going to judge, but they're going to judge based off of these criteria. Yeah. How do you feel about that?
Well, before I answer that, let me get this thing to Charlie, because I don't want it to.
Oh, please do. Go ahead. No sweat. Do your thing.
Yeah, we should have thought about that before we started. Right?
Do you have another a block for that? I think I have one. I could get you. Hold on, right up here. Hold on, I got you.
We should have.
You're good. You're good. This stuff happens. This is real life, unedited. You getting the full.
I think we could put it right here.
You got one?
I think we could put it right here to this thing.
Oh no. Here, do this one. Plug.
Just put it over here. Yeah, I'll plug it over here. Just give me that.
Does it work?
This one down here?
Oh, yeah. This one.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, we got it. We should have thought that through.
So. Good. Is it good?
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Okay, we're back. No sweat. While I'm up. Double check. See how we rocking. All right.
So
showtime. Show goes on. So before you answer, okay. So I'm glad. Let me get these on real quick.
I'm glad that you say that, because
me too.
That's something that I've actually messed up at too. Like, you don't have like no criteria or no nothing. So, I'm actually uploading that to Eventbrite now, so people know exactly what they need to do.
Mm-hmm. So there is criteria.
Yeah, there is criteria.
Is that normal, or is that a new thing? Because I've never seen that.
So typically in smaller barber battles, people fail to have those criterias. Mm-hmm. But that's because they're not experienced, So that's usually an easy ball drop right there. Like you're gonna drop the ball on that one. So the criteria depends on the category that you have, right? Mm-hmm. So, like for example, a fast fade category, you cannot have anything less than a number 3 on top.
Okay.
Or a 2.
Coming into the show, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. Or even before you go into the like when you do the haircut, you cannot have anything less than a number 3.
Okay.
Because you got to make it challenging,
right?
So
yeah, because you can't do a 2 with a mid fade.
Every show is different. Like everything must be sanitized. You should have your station prepared. It takes you this long to set up. So usually, in a lot of barber battles, especially the bigger ones, you could get points deducted on if you're late to set up, if you cut the person, if you use too much enhancement or something. Like there's some categories that it is not no enhancement allowed. Mm-hmm. So it all depends on what category you're in.
Okay. Well, I do like that there's actually criteria, because I've never heard of that, and that's always been my biggest gripe. It's like, I understand these guys have time in the game and these guys have good eyes, all these things, but if there's no objective criteria that you're looking at, then they're just picking their favorite guy.
Their favorite, yeah.
So not that I have, an issue with the people that are winning, but I like to know that there's a legitimate, structure.
So you get a paper whenever you're a judge, you get a paper, and this paper specifies exactly what you're supposed to vote on, right? So like blend transition, edges or lines or etc. Whatever that category might be. If you have to break a tie, let's say you have 2 great haircuts, and this is where a lot of people mess up, and they're like, oh, they don't like me, blah 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 blah. Man, it's more than that. There's always going to be a captain judge, which that judge usually breaks the tie. But at the same time, whenever you're competing and you have two people that are tied, now how do you break that tie? So, now I got to look in consideration, like, did this person cut him? Did he leave hair on the neck?
Details.
Did he do his eyebrows? Because if he did his eyebrows and he didn't, well, he did more.
Yeah.
Did he use shears? Did he not? Well, if he used shears, he get extra points. Now you need to look into, like, does he have hairs on his ears? Is he clean? Like his nose hairs, his outfit.
I feel like you saw my nose hairs when you said that.
No.
I'm just
does his outfit go with the haircut? Like, does it fit the haircut? Like,
now we're getting a little outside, because now it's like, okay, well, like you said, where does the tie break?
For example,
I like that.
If you've been in the game long enough, you know that a tag team, a final look or a total look, what is it like? Like, if you, and these are things that if you don't know, and you're gonna lose.
Yeah,
and you can't be mad.
I would lose that because I don't know.
So final look, whenever you look at final look or total look, it's the total look. It's not just the haircut. So, like, let's say if you do a high top fade, a good look for you to have on him is like
a 90s,
a 90s, or like French Prince of Bel-Air, or like Blade Trinity, or if you're gonna have like a pompadour, maybe dress him up like an Italian mob type of guy, So it's a greaser final look. It's more than just the haircut. Like, you really got to put the work into it.
It's almost cosplay at that level, almost. Yeah, but it's real life, right?
Let's say if you have a Halloween theme or a Christmas theme, well, 9 times out of 10, if you have a Halloween theme, you're gonna dress up your model as a Halloween character. If it's his Christmas, same thing. So it all depends on what you're competing on. So I've seen a lot of great things as a judge. I think that the biggest thing is finding a very experienced and diverse judging panel.
Right. I would agree, yeah.
Because you might have a person that has straight hair and you might have a person that has coarse hair. Now, I don't cut coarse hair. Let's say that. Let's say I don't cut it. So how can I know that this person did actual work when I cannot relate to that haircut? So you have to have a diverse team for you to be able to understand what type of work that person did on that hair.
Yeah.
For example, if you use a lady to do a haircut and that lady doesn't have any redness, it's a lot easier for a lady to get redness or anything like that because their skin is more sensitive, right? Like, they don't cut their hair as much as a guy does. Our hair is our hair is a little bit thicker and our head is a little bit more used to that haircut. So for you to do a haircut on a lady and not have any redness or any cuts, that's actually a big thing. So
that's interesting.
If you're cutting a kid, that's impressive because the kid's moves, like, and stuff like that. So you got to take all those things in considerations, but every show is different.
This makes me feel a lot better about definitely about the competition at your expo, because I know not everyone goes to those extents. I like the idea. I feel like if I end up with the opportunity to host a barber battle, someone's asked me before, but it never really aligned with what I have going on at the moment. But I've always liked the idea of having a barber battle where, let's say you come up to the stage and you're interested in making the battle.
Yeah.
Then somebody sets a criteria, and now we have to pick the clients unexpectedly out of the people there.
Yeah. So it's crazy that you say that because my father actually told me about that one time, and we actually saw it in a show. And it was actually in Berks County Barber Expo. Berks County. I was thinking about calling that category the walk-in category.
I like that.
So that means that, like, that's how you really get tested, because anybody can cut someone's hair that you've been cutting for 20 years, right? But, like, can you cut someone that you don't know, like, so, like, it's just more challenging. But the thing about it is that back in the day, people would just compete for bragging rights and tools and stuff. Now everybody wants money. So in reality, if anybody wants to be in an expo, like, you gotta drop some bread. Like, that's just how it is. You got to drop some bread, or you got to have some huge giveaways.
For sure. Do you have any people in particular that are already locked in names that people would recognize and be happy to see? Is there anybody that is coming for sure?
What you mean, to compete or
no, just
expo?
to be at the expo, to educate, to showcase, anything like that? Because I'm not familiar. I'm not sure.
Man, we have a lot of great people, man. We have DJ Cutter. He's a brand ambassador for JRL. We have Angel Raw. He's a brand ambassador and educator for...
He's here too.
And he's here too, Jacksonville. We have Frank the Barber.
Mm-hmm.
We have Danny Amorum. We have a lot of people, man.
Frank's from my side. I'm from Orlando, Kissimmee, so that's my
We have
side
a lot of people. We have you.
Hell yeah. Hey, much love. We're going to be out here. Hey, so if anybody wants to come be on the show and give their segment, give their story, that's what we're going to be there for, and help expose the show. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And that's one thing too that I tell people, because a lot of times I do like lives and stuff like that. And people is like, I try to bring tattoo artists. I try to bring everything. Man, at the end of the day, as barbers, we want to get tattoos. We want to get an interview. We want to have a say-so and everything. So we've actually had a lot of podcasts reach out and want to be like
hell yeah,
podcast is a big thing.
Do you have any others there that are going to be there? I didn't even think about that.
We have like 3 other guys that are asking. They're actually close friend of mine, and I think it's going to be good.
Hell yeah,
because eventually we'll have like our own news network.
Exactly.
Like back in the day, like if you want to found something, like you have News Channel 4 or Channel 2 or stuff like that. But how about if we could build that for barbering?
Exactly.
Right? Like we could even build a series or a documentary for Netflix. I mean, this can go so far. Yeah.
But I got a documentary, and I told you we have a documentary. Yeah. So if you haven't been, you got to check it out. Elevate Barbering on the YouTube page, or if you type in Elevate Barbering, you'll see that we have a trailer. Sure. So when we opened up the shop, my boy did the documentary in 3 months. He followed us around for 2, edited the whole documentary in 1 month, and then we premiered it downtown at the theater. So it was dope. We had like 150 people come out and do the show. And I love to hear that there are going to be other shows there, other podcasts there, because
network,
like you said, mainstream media is gone.
Yeah.
We are the media now, and it's the people that we are, communities that are tapping in and crossing over.
Yeah.
So, I'm excited. I would love to find out about those people, because we can have each other on each other's show.
I know that This Is Nino. I don't know if he's connected, but This Is Nino is definitely a person that was interested. And then Ricky Revamp was also interested.
Okay. They already have shows that they do, though. Are you saying they already have their own podcast?
Yeah, they have their own podcast. I was actually on Ricky Revamp's podcast. I forgot the name of it. It's a pretty cool name. It has a great meaning, but I was there in premiere.
Okay.
His podcast.
Oh, he did it over there too? Dope. Hell yeah.
So what a lot of these podcasts are doing too, they're also partner up with other companies, because let's say you have a product company. They usually get huge spaces, 20 by 20s, 30 by 20s, like 80 by 20s, whatever you call it. They'll usually have an area for podcasts now, because, everybody want to get interviews. So like, he was with a company there, and we just did the interview right there.
Oh, that's dope. Okay, I'm glad to hear it. Did he have people come on the show too, the people that were there, or was it mainly for the businesses and the...
No, he just invited people from the crowd and everything, and Good. He just started having conversations.
That's our plan too. So that's
it was amazing.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. I'm gonna have to link with them. Yeah, get their contact information. If you don't mind, I'm curious to your story in barbering. How did you even? Because I see what you've done. You have a dope shop. You have a dope private studio set up in the back. How did you get started into barbering and make it this far?
So, I was born and raised in Puerto Rico.
Hell yeah, what part?
Fajardo.
Okay.
So, my grandpa was really, really close to me, and I was really, really close to him, and he died. My uncle moved here, and then my grandma moved with my uncle, and my grandpa was getting a little bit sick, kind of, and he came over here, and he decided to come over here with my grandma, and and he ended up losing his life. So
I'm sorry to hear that.
you know, so we came over here, and I was 13 at the time, and I didn't have a barber here at the time, so I started cutting my brother, and you know, that's how we kind of like started cutting hair. You know,
He cuts too?
No, he doesn't. He's very smart though. He's a brilliant guy. I started cutting hair, and then I started cutting myself, and what happens is that since we didn't have a barber, I just kept cutting him. Like the first time I did pretty good. Second time I completely messed him up. Is because it's like, you know, that first time you kind of do good, so you think you're better than what you really are. So I messed him up. And you know, I kept going. By the age of 15, I was already full-time cutting hair.
Oh, good. That's
my mom
here in Jacksonville?
Yeah.
That's
my
awesome.
mom got diagnosed with cancer when I was young. And then, you know, fast forward to 18, my mom dies from cancer.
Wow, I'm sorry, brother.
And my dad was in South Korea, and you know, I decided to pretty much pursue like a career in barbering, and you know, I just did it, and it went amazing, and here we are 4 barbershops later. I'm also trying to do a barber school. We got an expo, so there's a lot of stuff that is in the works. It's not just a barbershop. Like we have a lot of things that we're trying to work on.
That's awesome, bro, because it seems like your lane is everything I'm working towards doing on my own. You know what I'm saying? So that's good to know that, you know, we can help each other, and I can learn from you, and maybe vice versa. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's what I tell people, man. There's so many like things to learn from, you know, people in this industry, outside of this industry. I just did SMP, like, you know, I decided to shout out to Angel Ross for certifying me. I just got my SMP certification and my tattoo license to be able to do that. So I just always want to grow. I always want to learn something new, even if you don't necessarily do it all the time. But just the fact that you have that knowledge is something that is going to be really, really amazing.
That's awesome. You mentioned you said something about the tattooing, and it reminds me. I actually do tattoos. I know how to do them. I apprenticed at a buddy's barbershop for a while. Then I realized, bro, you're building a business. You can't stretch yourself this thin. So do you mentioned tattoos at the expo. Do you have a tattoo booth there? Anybody doing that?
I think so. One thing that happens, and I want to tell everybody that is also on live. Once you go over 40 vendors or even 20 vendors, it's almost impossible for you to know everybody that is in there.
For sure.
So like if I had somebody come up to me and tell me, hey, I'm with Elevate. I know who Elevate is, but maybe right now, like I was like, I don't know who's there.
Like blanking.
You know, I'm like, who's there? I was like, man, I don't know. You know, so a lot of people get pretty butthurt about it. Like, I was like, yo, I got 80 plus vendors.
Not only just the vendors, but you've already listed off the million other things. I mean, I know that I'm extremely busy, and I'm very close to, you know, that level of challenging myself in growth. And I see what you're doing, and I see what you're doing at a level further down that line than I am. I can't imagine. So if somebody is hearing this and hears everything you do, everything you got your mind on, and is worried that you don't remember their name for the booth that they're in, that's pretty crazy. I mean, that's just unrealistic. But I will just reach out to a couple people that I have just in case, though, to let them know.
Yeah, we need tattoo
that's an opportunity.
People. Not only tattoo people, but we also need people that are into we need people that are into massage. We need people that are into physical therapy. We need people that are into stretching. Like, you know, like I go to my chiropractor every week or 2 weeks.
Oh, I wish,
because
I'm so overdue.
You know, I just need it. Like, if you want to be able to work and feel good in the barbering industry, you got to take care of yourself. So, you know, a nutritionist might be good, a stretch therapist, all these things. So we need all these type of people to come July 20th. Not only people that are willing to vend, not only people that are willing to sell products or educate. We need people that are willing to help as well. So anything that you can think of that can involve barber, beauty, cosmetic, or fashion industry, we have it too. We have a lot of people that have apparel. We need them to be part of the expo, all those stuff. So yeah, we definitely will be interested.
Don't remind me about apparel right now, man. I had a fiasco because I was getting ready to come out with the show with some merchandise. You see, I got the hats. I've been working on stuff, and with the small town and limited network we're working with right now, all my merch went downhill. And I'm like, you know what? That's okay. the main mission's the podcast.
Yeah.
The merch will kick in after the show, but we got to get this stuff going. So I'm glad to hear that. And I want to talk to you offline for sure after this, and we'll see what else I can maybe help out with that on that front. And you mentioned your dad being in South Korea. Was he in the military?
Yeah, my dad is a retired major from the Army.
Okay, that's awesome, man.
20 years.
Respect to him for his service, for sure.
Yeah.
I did 5 in the Air Force.
Okay.
That was enough for me, though. That was enough. So 20 years is good. And obviously, you said him and your family is very supportive in everything you have going on, especially with Puerto Rican families. You know how toxic we can be sometimes.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad to hear that that's not the case and that they've been so supportive. Are they involved other than through you within the industry, or do they have their own specialties and just support because it's love?
They all have their own thing. I'll tell you this: everybody's pretty supportive in my family, but there's 2 guys there's 2 people in my family. Of course, my dad is one. My dad is, no matter what, he's there. You know, my dad is a little bit difficult to work with because he's military style. So
old school.
So he's old school. So it's something that I kind of butt heads with, but I also appreciate because it made me the man who I am today. So I know no matter what, he's gonna be there. But one person that is really amazing is my oldest brother. Luis, he's always there. And the thing is that he is such a servant. Like he serves. Like every time he goes there, he's like, whatever you need me to do. Like, whatever you need me to do. And, you know, I got other brothers and other people that, you know, it's that's why he's the oldest. Like, he's just so humble. So definitely shout out to him because he really gives it 110%. So everybody else is great as well. But yeah, those 2 people are super amazing.
The rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're you know, you got people that help, but you know, these are 2 people that have immense amount of patience. Like even when I'm wrong, they're able to breathe and be like, yo, like, don't do this or that. So, you know, you got people that help out a lot, but they'll get mad or stuff.
And they're truthful to you. You know, they're not going to tell you what they think.
My dad and my brother, they're very patient with me. So I definitely appreciate them a lot.
Shout out Luis and Pops.
Yeah.
How much older is your brother?
My brother, he's 6 years older, so he's 35.
Oh, that's
now.
a good, it's a good
he's
stretch.
30. He's probably 30.
Damn, so you're only 29?
Yeah, I'm 29.
Damn,
he's
bro.
turning 36. Damn, my brother's turning 36 in July.
We all get my birthday's the 19th.
Yeah,
the day of the car show. I was gonna say I should get a car, right?
Crazy, yeah.
I should get a car. Somebody throw a car out in a raffle for me or something.
Yeah.
That's awesome to hear. I might have to figure out a way to make it up for that too.
Yeah.
Because I love cars. You know, we all do.
Car is gonna be amazing. I think that car is gonna bring that missing part to it. You know, because people just love cars, man. I actually shout out to someone, I think is in Plant City. He does the show Cars and Cuts. He's also going to come out here.
Fire.
He's going to be part of the expo, so that's going to be pretty amazing.
That's dope. I'm going to let a bunch of people know about that too. As much as I can to contribute and be a part of it.
As much as we can, for sure.
So let me ask you this then. With being as involved in the industry and the amount of time that you have been, what do you not like that you're seeing about the direction of the industry? Is there anything going on, whether that be expos or social media or what you're seeing in your shops? Is there anything that you're not too fond of that you would like to kind of see change trajectory? Or how do you feel about anything like that?
Damn, you know what? Those type of things, they're difficult because those are things that even though I might not like them, I really don't talk about them. I just try to be light and try to be a change. So I don't pay much mind to that.
Don't focus on the negativity.
I think that as long as you don't hurt someone and as long as what you're doing is morally and correct, you know, and it doesn't affect your integrity and integrity of others and as long as you respect others, you should be good. But man, I don't know. Like, I think that there should always be a level of professionalism in the industry, no matter what you do. Like, right? If you want to smoke weed, you smoke weed. If you want to smoke cigarettes, there's no problem with that. I don't have a problem with anything. But you know, if you want to cuss, you can cuss, like whatever you do. But and I don't think this is just with the industry. I think this is with life. There was a time and place to do things, you know.
For sure.
So that's something that hurts me because, like, you know, I'm very cautious of my surroundings. I'm not a saint by any means, but I try to be cautious of if there's a lady, if there's
Absolutely.
a kid and stuff like that. So I just feel like people is like, oh, I don't give a damn. I'm just real. Man, you could be real without disrespecting other people.
Creating a space that don't make people uncomfortable.
So that's the only thing that I have a problem with. Like, if you're getting paid thousands of dollars to get up on a stage, but you're cussing and you don't even dress up properly to represent that company, or you're just so stuck on your role on social media. Like the problem is not having a role or playing a role. It's like when you start believing that, you know, it's completely fake from what you are. So that's the problem. But there's more positive than bad. I like to believe. Like, I mean, there's a lot of people that are doing great things in the company and stuff like that. But I just feel like if we want to see a change, we have to be that change. So
for sure,
that's it.
You mentioned to me that you might be not necessarily expanding how many shops you have, but possibly going the other direction. Is there a particular reason for that?
That I might not be expanding.
Yeah, in terms of, you know, you already have 4 shops, so I imagine you're not trying to go to 5, 6 if you have the show and you keep trying to grow that. Is there a reason you may not want to grow in terms of having more shops? Because you have a huge shop, bro. What do you have, like 12 chairs in there?
I got 13. Yeah,
13 in this one. Are the other ones as big?
We're thinking about remodeling and putting a couple more extra chairs.
That's crazy, bro. That's awesome. I got 4 chairs in my shop, and I feel like I couldn't. I don't know if I'd want to have more barbers than that. You know, how do you feel? How do you manage 4 different shops and you know the consideration to either get more or less?
Well, I'm in a time of my life where I'm trying to figure out what exactly I want to do. You know, because I've done a lot in the barbering industry. I've been a barber. I've been a barbershop owner. I'm trying to open a school. I've done an expo. I've done a lot in this industry. You know, not to compete with anyone, but just for myself. So right now I'm at the point of my life where I just live a day at a time. I don't know, maybe tomorrow I sell the shops and I'm not a barbershop owner. Maybe tomorrow I do a upscale barbershop, or maybe I go up to 10 and 20. Who knows? Like, I don't know. Like, people, you have to follow what gives you true joy, not happiness. Happiness can change. Happiness is subjective to the happenings in your life. So meaning that if something happens that is bad, then you're not going to be happy anymore. So I don't know. Right now, doing the shops is something that I liked, and this is a pretty big shop. I've been blessed to be able to find barbers. However, there's a lot of barbershops opening in this area, so barbers are they're not as easy to find. So
quality ones.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, whenever I feel like I need to do something and I could go another direction, I'll do that. Like, I think that's probably the best and the worst quality that I have, that I'm not scared to go the opposite way. Right. And when I mean the best and the worst is because it's the best because you could just do it. Right. What do you have to lose? But it's the worst too, because what if you're wrong? But you know, I don't live by that. So
that's a better way to be, for sure.
Yeah.
I think.
So I just
yeah. You can't look in the rearview mirror.
Yeah.
Man. I think that's something that somebody can learn from you, because it doesn't, like you said, you have to go in the direction you need to go. And whether it works or not, you got to keep going. Yeah. You can't turn around and be like, wait. Nah, you committed, bro. Yeah. So like, you know, redirect. Yeah. What about the process of owning 4 shops? As owning one, I know what my challenges are. What would you say your biggest challenge is in owning 4 shops, or is that something you would even recommend a barber to go down that path on?
Yeah. One way that I went wrong, and I want to speak this out there because a lot of people don't speak where they went wrong, right? So delegating is a big part of your growth. The way that I should have done it, I should have got my school and then got multiple shops
after.
Yeah, that's what I feel, because for example, like Chick-fil-A. Like Chick-fil-A, like if you want to own a Chick-fil-A, you have to go to their school. You have to get trained. You have to know their ways. There is a way and there's a reason why they're so good. So like I feel that whenever you have everything in-house, whenever you have a school and you can train this student and you can mold them to be like you, to sell like you, to cut like you, you're going to have a little bit of more peace of mind. But I mean, again, it just felt right at the moment. I did a lot of shops, and I don't think I lost. I don't think you lose. You either win or you learn. Like I don't lose, man. Like everything I've had in life, like I've learned and experienced. So, I definitely like it, but it could be draining. It could be draining, and I did not think through the effectiveness or the power that I would have to like reach out to other people. Like I didn't know how much that would take of my time, because now that I'm getting to my 30s, I'm like, damn, like I can't spend 100 hours in the shop, like, so now I'm thinking different. Maybe I don't want to shop. So who knows? Maybe tomorrow I found 10 managers that can run it by themselves and I could have 10. So, I don't know, but, I think owning multiple barbershop, it's really good. You just got to have a really, really good structure. And one person that teaches you that real good is Chris Bazio with the 6-Figure Barber Program. That's good. So just if you're trying to get multiple shops, just get mentorship and get as much knowledge as you can.
Did you utilize any of their programs?
I still utilize it to this day.
Oh, that's awesome.
I still utilize it to this day. However, there's someone else that I'm also going to start getting educated and mentored by. His name is Vinny De Leon. I think his barbershop makes $3 million a year.
Holy shit.
He's a commissioned barbershop, but yeah, his barbers make a lot of money.
That's a way to do it, bro. If he's got it that good.
I think one of his barbers made like $265,000 in 1 year.
That's going to provide value and people are going to want to work there.
Yeah, so because you can leverage now, right? So
right.
I heard him educate yesterday in
where's his place?
BarberCon. He's in Houston.
Okay. And you're flying all over to these shows like regular basis or what?
So I don't just fly to these shows. I don't pay for these shows. So I started as a brand ambassador and as an educator for That Urban Edge. So if you don't know what That Urban Edge, people, I advise y'all to go check it out. It's a beard company. However, as time kept going, my title started growing in that company. I went from a barber educator, ambassador, to a product developer, to doing a lot of their media and stuff. So that there goes another thing. There goes another opportunity that you can make more money. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
right.
I've been in many areas of this industry, and I was able to go from 3 products to now we have 7 products. We have a wet line now. So,
that's crazy.
That's
like, dope, man.
We started doing that. So, it's like
that's
I'm,
it.
Like
well,
I'm saying,
sky's the limit, bro. You just gotta see where the next motion
just
is.
Figure out what you want and
what would you tell to a barber coming up at any level in the game who hears this and hears everything you've done and accomplished, who wants to follow that direction, maybe not in your exact footsteps, but move in that direction? What do you think is the best piece of advice that you can offer from your experience?
Man, what I try to tell people is like, one quote that I live by every single day: comparison is the thief of joy.
Hell yeah. So
don't compare yourself to anyone. You can admire what someone does, especially if it's positive, but you should never compare yourself to that person, because I feel like you as an individual, God gave us, all of us, light to shine anywhere. That is different to everybody. Mm-hmm. I might to me, it might be cutting hair. To someone else might be owning a shop. To someone else could be having a podcast. So just figure out what you're really, really good at. Mm-hmm. Put the work into it, and the deals and the opportunities are just going to come. Right. Like when I started cutting hair, it was never about the money. Like I cut a lot of free heads. It was just about, I want to learn how to cut hair. Mm-hmm. When you stop focusing on the money and you focusing on perfecting your craft, the money's going to come.
Exactly. And if I may add, an important part to that, exactly what you just said to me, and what I always stand on is the transparency and the authenticity. I think there's too many people that want to go this direction for reasons that aren't true to them. And they're just doing it, whether it's because they think these people will think it's better or they think these. And it goes along with what you were saying about comparison, except you're living through the lenses of others. Yeah. It's like, you're not doing it because you truly want to. Yeah. You're doing it because you think you're supposed to. That's my big deal. You know, it's like, whatever your lane, don't think that you don't have something valuable to offer people. And that's what I hope to continue doing here, you know? So I definitely appreciate you coming on and telling your story. Sure. Is there anything that we didn't touch on that you want to make sure to get out there before we wrap up today?
No, I think we touched on everything, man. Cool. Let's just continue to do great things and be light. Just remember, July 20th, we're going to be in Jacksonville at the JAX Elite Barbering Beauty Expo at the Prime Osborne Convention Center. So if there's anything that you're in, whether it's barbering, beauty, makeup, fashion, massage, esthetician, CPA, whatever you are, make sure you come by. Barbers need the education. Barbers need to know more about marketing. They need to know more about social media. They need to know more about finance. They need to know more about business, about health, about all of these things. So make sure that you can come by and we can do something. We can do something great, not only for the city of Jacksonville, but also surrounding areas, because we have a lot of people that travel from outside.
Okay, awesome, bro. I definitely appreciate you. Thank you so much. I look forward to being there and putting everybody on and hopefully continuing to grow the show. If you know anybody who wants to come on, make sure to let them know. Sure. Wait, real quick, where can they find all of your content? I know we got JaxEliteBarberExpo.com.
JAX Elite, JAX Elite Barber, JaxEliteExpo.com. Or you could go to my personal Instagram, Nando Corps, or you could go to the JAX Elite Instagram, JAX Elite Expo.
Awesome. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you. We'll see you there.
Yes, sir.